Why you need to be using challenges in your business. Welcome to the Kerry Knoll Show. I'm your host, Kerry Knoll, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about challenges and why you need to be utilizing them in your business. What exactly is a challenge? A challenge is nothing more than a training program with two particular components attached to it. One is it should be live, and the second one is it should consist of a definitive time frame, such as 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, etc. Ideally, you want that challenge to fall within a time frame of 5 to 90 days. Anything longer than 90 days is more or less considered just coaching, and anything less than 5 days is more or less just considered like a masterclass. And one of the amazing benefits to running a challenge is challenges presented in a way that people know that they're going to be live and not some sort of evergreen or recorded training, is that they know that there's a limited time to A, sign up for the challenge and partake in the challenge, and then B, they also know that if you're live with them, they get to interact with you more, they get to talk to you, they get to ask questions, and it helps them build a bond or connection with you. And so this is great because this allows you to get a taste for that particular niche, teaching that particular subject matter to that niche, and then it allows that customer or client on the other end in that niche to see whether or not they like you as a teacher, instructor, if they feel you're knowledgeable, if they got something good out of it. It really strengthens that bond between you and them, and therefore they're more likely to purchase an offer at the end of the challenge and or to purchase something down the road from you. They become more or less a customer for life, especially if the challenge is simple, straightforward, and has a quantifiable result attached to it, which means that you are going to be teaching them something that will get them a direct result if they partake and do the things they need to be doing during the challenge. So it creates these small little wins that add up to a big win in their mind, and then that you're actually helping them by demonstrating that you can actually help them. A challenge also doesn't sound so much like they're buying into a course. It sounds more like they're not buying like more information, but they're buying a transformation. And that's what you're hopefully going to provide them with during your challenge that you're going to be doing. Challenge is primarily made up of three things. What, which is basically what is the topic and what is the payoff. So what is the problem your challenge is going to solve for them? Then it's the who, like what is your niche market? Who's your customer avatar? Who's your ideal person for this challenge? Who do you really want to work with? And then the how is the bridge or the training between the two, between the what, right? The topic and the payoff for the who. And the how is carried out over the course of the challenge, whether that's going to be 5 days or 7 days or 10 days, etc. All you need for a challenge in order to be successful is essentially a smartphone and a Facebook group. That's it. You don't need a sales funnel. You don't need any special software. You don't need anything but those two items initially to get a challenge started and off the ground. Now, if you don't have a smartphone, you hopefully will have a computer, and you can do it as easily, if not easier, if you have a PC. But almost everyone has a smartphone over a PC, so therefore the minimum viable setup that you would need is a smartphone and a Facebook group. Eventually, you will also want to make sure you have an autoresponder so that you can email marketing software so that you can build a list of leads and follow up with them about when the challenge is going to begin and all sorts of fun stuff. You also may need a streaming software if you're going to be going live in Facebook. You can do that directly through Facebook itself in the group. But if you want to do anything extra, such as like offering a VIP setup or something along those lines where they get the recordings of each day, and or the ability to ask direct questions, or only those people you'll answer questions for, then you would also need something like Zoom, where you can give that access directly to the people who pay additional fee to access that extra information or get that invaluable content that you'll be sharing in a format that they can review and watch later at a later date. Again, the ideal length for a challenge should be somewhere between 5 and 90 days. It needs to be live, because if you don't offer it live, why will they show up? And would you expect them to show up live if you're not live? I mean, think about that. So if you're not willing to be live, then why should they be live? And then vice versa, right? So you need to be doing it live. You need to get comfortable. You need not to worry about how you look or how you feel. You need to get comfortable in your own skin. And if you are apprehensive, a little bit nervous about it, just practice a little bit before you do it. And just understand that you're going to get judged. You're going to probably have some negative feedback, but along with some of that negative feedback, you're going to get a lot of positive encouragement, positive words, and there's going to be some people that just don't care either way. The more uncomfortable you are, the more you need to get more comfortable, and the only way to do that is actually be uncomfortable, do it, and break through the barriers, even if you're the biggest introvert in the world. On a side note, the number one thing you need to do when doing a challenge is not be boring. And hopefully I'm not too boring in these podcasts, but what I'm saying is you don't want to be a drone and talk into your microphone and barely make eye contact with anybody on the screen and talk in a very monotone fashion to the point where it's like, I don't want to listen anymore. I don't know what he's even saying. And, you want to be a little more animated. You want to be a little more relaxed. You want to be able to gesture a little bit. You want to head bob a little bit. You want to just come across as if you're just sitting across from them one-on-one, talking to them about this subject matter, just as you would anybody else at any other point in your life, right? So that's the real takeaway here. It's getting into a comfort zone that allows you to teach and hand off this information and share this information with your camera. That's all you have to do. Think about that camera as being your friend, or somebody maybe that your family member, somebody that you feel very comfortable talking to, and forget about the fact that on the other side of that camera there may be 10 people. And I'm joking. Hopefully there'll be a whole lot more than 10 people. Hopefully it'll be 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, whatever it might be. And, likely in the beginning, you may not have very many, and that's okay too. It's all about getting comfortable, getting used to it, and just getting out there and doing it, because these live challenges are killing it, and you need to be using it, all right? I promise. In fact, I'm going to be doing my own live challenge here very shortly, and I'll report back on the results once I actually do get mine kicked off, and then I'll let you know how it goes. During these challenges, it's really, really important you give daily assignments to everybody each and every day after the training. These need to be very small, bite-sized tasks that are like 15 to 20 minutes max, that allow people to get small wins. The smaller the win, the better. The easier the win, the better. When we're talking about doing these daily assignments, then you want to ask them to come back and report back to the group with what they've accomplished or what they're supposed to do. And one of the best ways to do that is ask them to go live to report back. Because if they go live and report back, you instantly gain a video testimonial, number one, because there's going to be a ton of people that are going to say, oh, training was amazing, Kerry is amazing, Bob was amazing, whoever it is that's teaching this training, this challenge. And you're going to be able to take, either the video itself, or you're going to be able to take screen captures of all the amazing testimonials you've just gotten, and you're going to be able to use those then and push those out in your email marketing back to all the registrants or people who signed up that maybe didn't attend the first day, so they can get the feedback and see it, and they're maybe more encouraged to attend day 2 and or watch the replay of day 1 while it's available to them. Stuff like that. So you want to take advantage of all of that. Another topic to challenges is whether it should be free versus paid. If you offer a free challenge, you may get more people to sign up for it, and you can still present an offer at the end of that challenge in order to make some money back for your time and effort and everything else. Where the biggest problem there is with offering a free challenge is a lot of times people won't show up because they'll undervalue the challenge. And because they don't have any skin in the game, they won't necessarily attend the live sessions. Perhaps they won't even watch the replays. And you'll be building a list of potential freebie seekers versus people who are willing to actually pay for access to what you're willing to put out there for them to help solve one of their problems or their major problem that they may have. So it's really, really important to consider this before deciding whether to do a free or a paid. Now, if you do a paid, you're going to get probably less people, of course, to sign up, but you've already gotten them to take that first step, which is spend money with you, which is a big step, because now you're going to have a buyer's list or customer list versus a prospect list. And of course, once you have a buyer's list or a customer list, it's easier to make additional sales down the road to them with whatever product or service you want to offer them. Challenges, I talked briefly in the beginning about having a quantifiable end result. Doesn't always have to be that way. It's best if you can do a challenge with a quantifiable result that they can all achieve or get to, because you'll get most of them then ranting and raving and singing your praises about how great of a person you are and what you've done to help them solve their problem. However, there are challenges where you may just consider not having a quantifiable, measurable result. In that case, it's just going to be more of an information-based challenge where they're partaking because they're passionate about the subject at hand. They know that they could use your advice and your help, and they'll take on whatever they got from it and move on with their life or whatever it is. And they still may be a customer of yours. They still might buy an offer of yours at the end. It's not saying they won't. It's just saying there might not be a measurable way to know whether or not what you've taught them over the course of your challenge has actually got them the result or a desired result for them. But there's both ways work, and you can utilize either one of those. Let's talk a little bit about the structure of a challenge. If you're going to do like a 5-day challenge, day 1 would be the why behind what you're doing. Day 2 would be the what behind what is happening in this challenge. And then day 3 might be the content process, their transformation from and to where you're taking them, right? And then day 4 would be the actual how, and you'd make an offer that would help them take what they had just learned in the first 3 or 4 days to another level with you. Will hopefully gain their trust into letting you be their mentor or let them take another step in the journey with you. Many times with 5-day challenges, you'll have a bonus day or 2. It could be day 6, day 7, because you want to over deliver, right? And those days could be case studies or other testimonials from previous clients or previous customers. What you want to do is you want to do so much during a challenge and provide so much value during a challenge that when you come for the ask at the end for the offer that you have for them, it's almost an absolute no-brainer for them to choose and say yes. Particularly, let's say if the offer at the end is $1,000 or $997, something along those lines, and maybe they jumped into this challenge for as little as $17, $27, $37, $47, whatever the price might be on the front. They learned hopefully a ton, got good results during the challenge over the course of 5 days, maybe it's 6 or 7 with the bonus days, and they feel like they may have gotten $5,000 worth of value from you from the training that you've provided during the challenge, but they only had to pay that small amount of money up front. And then you have a slick offer on the back end that is $1,000, and it becomes almost a no-brainer, and they almost feel guilty that they feel obligated almost to pay you that $1,000 because they know the amount of time you took with them, the way you answered their questions, explained everything in great detail, helped them along this very short journey with them, that they in turn want to reward you for all that, and they're more apt and more willing, and you'll have much higher close rate and success rate selling that offer after or near the end of this challenge. To promote a challenge, you would probably want to run paid advertising through like Facebook ads and or YouTube ads, and you probably would not want to advertise it much more than 5 days, 5 to 10 days max before a challenge begins, because no one, if you advertise it, it's going to be 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. People are going to forget. They're going to forget to sign up. They're going to think, oh, I've got time. They won't sign up right away. And they'll put it off because we have attention spans of a gnat right now. or a gnat might have a little bit longer attention span than we do. And quite frankly, that's why you don't want to be advertising too long out in front or promoting too long before the actual challenge begins or happens, because it'll just be a waste of your time and money, and you don't want to do that. If you're not sure where to begin with a challenge, my suggestion is to take your framework or process that you use, that you're going to be offering, a solution you already have created. That full solution has probably multiple steps to it. Well, instead of using each of those steps for each of the days of the challenge, you're better off taking the most exciting part of your process for the problem that you're solving and turning that into your challenge, and dividing up what you're going to teach them in that one single step of the process. And then during the challenge, while you're teaching that one single step, you can allude that there's obviously more steps. You can take it a lot further. There's more in-depth training that will help them picture or help them out in other ways through your paid program or offer on the back end of the challenge. So typically, a naming convention for a challenge will start with something along the lines of the amount of time for the challenge, so 5 day, 7 day, whatever it might be, and then whatever the topic is, and of course we just add the word challenge to the back end of the title. The difference between a webinar and a challenge is primarily the fact that a webinar is basically salesmanship, right? And with a challenge, you're literally removing the obstacle in real time for your intended audience. So instead of eluding and overcoming objections to the solution that's provided within the program or offer through the webinar, you're actually doing it for them. You're actually demonstrating the solution by actually providing the solution to them. I hope that this particular podcast episode was helpful for you. I hope you'll decide to try out doing a challenge for your business. It doesn't really matter what type of business you run. Challenges work for just about every single business out there, even e-com. It'd be amazed how well they work for all industries. So I encourage you to take a chance and try something different if you're not used to doing it. Give it a shot and let me know what the results are. With that being said, I hope everyone had a great time, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love for you to subscribe wherever you are listening or watching this particular podcast, and leave me a review if you can. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. So with that being said, I'm Kerry Knoll. This is the Kerry Knoll Show, and I will speak with you real soon. Take care.